Welcome back. My name is Tim Rolfe, Family Advocacy Program Manager here at Redstone Arsenal. Welcome to this edition of Beat the Holiday Blues. Today, I am joined by Major Ijames, or as most pronounce, Major Imes. But when you see it spelled, it looks like Ijames.
That is all right.
I wanted to make that distinction, ma'am. Major Imes is the Installation Director of Psychological Health, and she serves under the Behavioral Health Program at Fox Army Health Center as well as part of her overall responsibilities, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Well, we are super excited to have you here today because we're launching this initiative, and we always do something around this holiday season.
Yeah.
Because as you know, life stressors, expectations, things around the holidays can have an impact on our overall mental health. And so we wanted to bring you in today, Major Imes, to kind of share your expertise with the community, maybe offer some tips and some information that you would be willing to share that can help people manage the holiday seasons more effectively and keeping our mental health intact at the same time. So welcome. And so what do you recommend? What are some of the things that you could recommend for people that may be struggling with the holiday season?
Well, there's different reasons why folks might struggle with the holiday season. One is the pressures to keep up with everybody during the holiday seasons. In our fast-paced society, we're constantly on social media looking and comparing and despairing about what others are doing, what I look like I'm doing, what I should be doing. And I think it's important for people to use these holidays to treat it for what's good for them. We don't have to keep up with everybody else and what they're doing and how their table spread might look or the parties, things like that. It becomes what it is for us and for this moment. You know, some folks last year may have been a wonderful holiday season, and then this year life is changing and it's stressful. We've lost loved ones. There's family stressors, things like that. And this year could be for some folks that holidays won't look the same that it did last year.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that that's going to be forever. So those are some things I like to offer for folks is, you know, managing those expectations and not feeling that they have to keep up.
Yeah, that's such a good point because we do live in a day and age where, you know, social media, right, is kind of in our face and we see all the photos of, you know, the happy gatherings and, you know, it can really take its toll, I would imagine, right? And trying to keep up and having all those social media outlets that we can view and we only paint the pretty picture on social media, right? We don't see the backstory. Can you talk a little bit about how to manage our expectations when we're exposing ourselves to social media, for example?
And you said it perfectly. You know, we don't always see the other side of what people post when they post different things. But if we see this, again, a lavish post of XYZ, somebody is hanging out and having these wonderful parties and we got all these beautiful gifts and we know we might be struggling this year financially because we can't afford all these things. Those type of images, they get at a trigger for us. You know, it's already highlighting an insecurity for us that this year is not a good year. And it's going to highlight those insecurities. And so reminding ourselves that when we see those things online in the post, there are parts that we may not necessarily see on the other side that may not look so perfect. We're human. At the end of the day, all of us are human. And we do like to sometimes post ourselves in that positive light without all the other negative things we go through, but we're still human. We still have our ups and downs. We still have those rough patches and reminding ourselves that although we might see the positive in this one post, we're still human.
Right. And that's such a good point. So I want to talk real quick about the Behavioral Health Program and kind of what you do, what services you offer to the Redstone Arsenal community and how you might be of some assistance to the community during the holiday season?
Yeah. So right now with behavioral health at Redstone, we're only seeing active duty. We're still going through hiring actions right now to get our staff back on board. So we're primarily seeing active duty and their beneficiaries, but that doesn't stop somebody with TRICARE from reaching out to the community for behavioral health care. Anybody with TRICARE services, except for active duty, they need a referral. Right. But anybody who's a beneficiary with TRICARE, they can go to the network meaning Huntsville community, and call up, if they know of this provider or have been recommended to see a provider that takes TRICARE, they don't need a referral from us or anything. Also, there is a new TRICARE, TRICARE has approved the ability to use what's called Telemind, TELEMYND. It is virtual, but there is accessibility through Telemind, and that's for TRICARE beneficiaries. So while adult behavioral health at Fox may not be able to see all beneficiaries because we're focused on the active duty right now, there are avenues and assets to getting behavioral health. What I also like to offer is nationally across the nation, we just have a shortage of behavioral health providers. And so I highlight programs like what you're doing, Tim, with the webinars through the resiliency courses. That is prevention. Prevention reaches widespread more than what we can do once we start reaching that counseling session, things like that. Yeah. I think it's important for people to know where these prevention resources are, know how to use them, and use them. Because we need counseling sometimes. But if we can engage our prevention methods and stick with them, hopefully that helps us not get to the level of I need emergency counseling at this time when we know that there's a shortage across the nation with behavioral health providers. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And you brought up Telemind. What is that exactly? So is that like a virtual service that you call into and then you can receive counseling, through the website, on the telephone, both? How does that work exactly?
It's going to be through the website.
Okay.
So in fact, for my own self, I've done virtual counseling before, not through Telemind, but through Military OneSource. But you see the provider on your computer screen.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like a Zoom call or something? Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And so I think that we get put off because we want to be face-to-face with somebody, have that, be in that physical space, but it's still the same thing. You're still seeing somebody. You're still seeing, they can see you, they can see your affect and things like that. So I find that it's very helpful especially living in Huntsville, the traffic is just crazy here. Yeah. So, if somebody is like crunched for time, they just can't get to an appointment, they could call into their Telemind behavioral health appointment on their phone or tablet and have an appointment right there in their office, in their house.
Yeah, I love that idea because the accessibility of it is just amazing. It's just a phone call or a click away, and so that's amazing that you're starting to offer that. Is that something new or has that been ongoing for a while?
We've had information come out about it like in about October, I think it was. And it's TRICARE has approved Telemind as an authorized behavioral health counseling through TRICARE. And
Wow. So I want to switch gears just a little bit and talk about maybe some trends that behavioral health sees around the holidays. Do you see any trends or issues that tend to come up around this time of year that we can anticipate, and what might there be out there that we can do to help prevent some of that?
I can't say I necessarily see a trend around this time. I think what I do see is that once things kind of slow down for some folks, this is the time to go and get help, to go and talk to somebody because work has slowed down. People start to feel, okay, I got some breathing room where I can go and get help. So, and some of the trends are just kind of the everyday stressors of worrying about work, worrying about family, worrying about finances. Finances is a huge worry for folks nowadays. Those are some of the trends. I would also, and like I said, not that this is a specific trend that I've seen here, but it's just kind of a trend overall, is the influences of alcohol around this time of year. For those who might be dealing with alcoholism and using alcohol, that might be some trigger points for folks. And managing, these holiday parties, these balls in our culture, on the TV, everything is surrounded with alcohol around this time of the year. And that can be really tough for somebody who might be struggling with addictions. And so those are some of the things that we pay attention to all the time, but we're much more alert to it at this time because we know we're just bombarded with those images and those messages during this time of year. Yeah.
And, I think of the holidays as, kind of sometimes over partaking, right? And from a behavioral health perspective, is moderation something that you preach often to folks, whether it be, alcohol or, overeating, all those kinds of things that can have impacts on our lives.
Moderation with spending at this time of year too,
right?
That's
another one, right?
We're not obligated to, and people feel that they are obligated to, follow the traditions, and that's okay. But obligations are also constricted when you need to be mindful of overspending because you have, things are expensive. There might be other stressors that come along with spending, or you didn't moderate your intake, your food intake, your alcohol intake, your spending intake, your social media intake. There's all a moderation. It's all about moderation for a lot of aspects of our life.
Yeah, overindulgence is the key to watch out for during the holidays.
And then too, we can eat and we can work out, but don't overindulge with working out either.
Right.
It's okay.
It's okay to only spend an hour in the gym, right? Or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Wow. That's great. Well, thank you so much for coming by today and sharing this information. And, like you said, there is a lot of prevention efforts out there as well. So don't wait to get help, right? Because I think I would like to close with this, Major Ijames. If somebody's out there and they're questioning whether they should even reach out for help, they're afraid of the impact that they may have on their career, for example, or whatever the reason, justification might be, that it's someone that truly does need help and can benefit from help, but they're worried about the impacts of doing so. Can you talk about that as a closing?
I am so thankful you brought that up because I mention that all the time. I just gave a brief last week, and in my brief, I presented a slide from Defense DIA, I think it was. I can't remember exactly, but from 2012 to 2018, out of 2 million adjudications for security clearances, only 11 out of 2 million were revoked purely because of behavioral health reasons.
Wow.
300 were revoked because of behavioral health and another
Something
component.
Else. Right.
Yeah. You get the picture.
Yeah.
Our security clearances, we have an obligation to report it, but that doesn't mean we are going to now not be able to have our security clearance. So I hope that encourages folks to reach out and get help. Our mental health is way more important because if we don't take care of our mental health and we find ourselves down a path that might impair our judgment, then we're talking about another issue. And that's few and far between. But I hope people are encouraged that it's better to get help than be afraid of my security clearance, my job.
Yeah, because if you're truly in need of help and can benefit from help, but you don't, then that can compound the problem as well. So you're playing with fire there, right? And the outcomes could be far greater than if you just reach out for help, get what you need, and move on. So
it's like, you can dip your toes in the pool for a little bit, but go ahead and take that leap. Go ahead and do it.
Right. Wow. Well, that's so great information. And, one of the things we talk about all the time when we're doing the resiliency training is, reaching out for help is actually a sign of strength, because there's a myth out there that it's a sign of weakness. So we really want to dispel that myth and make sure that people are aware of the help and why, reaching out for that kind of assistance is very helpful and beneficial, and it can really save a lifetime of heartache and pain.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm really glad you shared that statistic with us because, again, that I think people have a misconception of what that means. So Major Ijames, thank you so much.
Welcome.
This has been a fascinating conversation. We appreciate the service and support. Do you want to have any contact information?
Yes. So you can reach our department at 256-955-8888. 8. And then ask for Major Ijames if you have any questions. You can find me on Outlook. I'm the only Victoria Ijames in there. It's Ijames. Pronounced like the dog food.
When I first saw your email, I when I was going to call you, I was going to say, hi, Major Ijames, but I'm glad I didn't. And I heard it pronounced first.
So yeah, reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
You're
your time today, ma'am. Appreciate you.
This was fun.
Yeah. Well, this is Tim Rolfe, Family Advocacy Program Manager here at Redstone Arsenal, signing off for today. And we look forward to talking to you again soon. Happy holidays.